Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this month's United Spinal Association Greater Philadelphia Educational Webinar Series. We are very excited this evening to have Brittany Berman with us, presenting on new technology in both manual and power wheelchairs. Brittany Berman is a physical therapist and an adaptive technology professional. She is a physical therapist at Moss Rehab Outpatient Clinic in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania. She specializes in wheelchair seating and mobility, and Brittany loves using her knowledge and experience to improve patients' posture and functional mobility. In her free time, she enjoys spending time with her family, her dog, exercising, and cross-stitch. Welcome, Brittany. During our webinar, please use the chat feature for any questions that you might have, or communicate via the chat if you would like to be unmuted at the end of the webinar to engage in a more verbal dialogue with Brittany. Also, at the end of the webinar, please view our chat box, as there will be a link to our YouTube channel where you can view this and all of our other webinars, as well as a link to our membership page if you are not a member of the Greater Philadelphia chapter and would like to be. And with that, welcome, Brittany.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Megan, thank you so much for that introduction. Let me start sharing my screen so we can get started with all this great information I'm hopefully sharing with you guys. So we're going to talk about new technology in manual and power wheelchairs, and we're going to touch a little bit about how to select a new wheelchair. So the new technologies we are going to talk about this evening are power assist for manual wheelchairs, power seating, the rear camera on the Quantum power wheelchairs, the Manuvio, which is the picture here with this woman in her chair. It is glasses to operate your power wheelchair and also some home accessories, wheelchair monitoring systems, the Rojo Quattro and Smart Check, and then also the Comfort Company Activac backrest. So we're going to talk about power assist first. So there are a few different types of power assist for ultra lightweight wheelchairs. There's rear attachment, front attachment, power wheels, and then a joystick with motor wheels attached to a K5 ultralight wheelchair. I am going to talk a little bit about insurance coverage during this presentation. And I'm going to say right off the bat, everyone's insurance is different. I'm going to speak about my experience in PA with Medicare and Medicaid programs and private insurances. If you are in a different state, or you may just have an insurance that I may not have encountered, it's best to go to the wheelchair clinic that you go to, or contact the company that you work with to get your wheelchair through, to discuss what is covered for you, to get that better knowledge than maybe what I'm giving. Like I said, I'm giving my experience. So with power assist insurance coverage, typically you have to have your K5 ultralight wheelchair for 1 year with Medicare. With Medicaid programs and private insurances, they should cover right when you get your chair and when you order it. And some qualifications for that would be decreased propulsion speed and shoulder pain to get those power assists. So I'm going to talk about rear wheel first. So there's a Smart Drive, which has been around for a while. The Smooth is a newer rear wheel attachment through Invacare. With these, you can still go up and down curbs, you can still complete wheelies, you're able to take them on and off the chair. The Smart Drive is about 13 pounds. I think the Smooth is around the same amount. They can attach to rigid or folding K5 ultralight wheelchairs. The new thing with Smart Drive is you can now use your Apple Watch with it if you were doing your tapping. They also have the option for the Google Watch. And both the Smooth and the Smart Drive have a knob to control your speed instead of tapping like you would do with the push tracker. So those are the new things with the Smart Drive and Smooth. The Sunrise Impulse. This is very new. I have not seen this in person. I have not ordered it for any patients, but I saw this a few weeks ago on the Sunrise medical website, and I really wanted to include it because it's a power assist for caregivers and attendants versus the patient. It's foldable and lightweight, and it's compatible with Tilton Space and folding K5s. So I have this quick video to show you from YouTube. And if you guys can't hear it, please let me know.
Brittany, unable to hear.
Okay, let me see. I'm just gonna exit out of here. Let me see. I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen real quick, just so I can get this for you guys.
When you share screen again, there may be an option for video share. See if you can click that.
Yeah. Sorry about this, guys. Technical difficulties. Let's try. All right, let's try this again. I was telling Megan earlier, I haven't gotten so used to presenting on Zoom, so I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing in this day and age. So, all right, let's try this again.
Perfect.
So you could see on there that the caregiver, she was able to control the speed. I think this is a really great new thing because I've had caregivers ask me about getting the Smart Drive or the Smooth for them to help their loved one or family member get around uneven terrain, or especially people who are in Tilton Space, and we're just like, that's not what they're for, that's not what they're coded for. And to qualify for, you have to show that you're pushing yourself. So I think this is a great new piece of technology, and I'm hoping that insurance will cover it. I can see I can see Medicaid's wanting to cover this and covering it, but we'll see. Like I said, it's new, so I haven't seen what the insurance coverage is like. So the Rio Mobility Firefly, this is a front attachment. This is more of an electric hand cycle, is what they call it. So this goes pretty fast, 12 miles an hour. It has a 15-mile battery life. I haven't prescribed one of these, but I saw it when I was doing my research, so it may be covered by private insurances, but I think you'll have more luck, or more, I shouldn't say luck, but better chance getting like the Smooth or the Smart Drive compared to this. So then power assist wheels. There are two that I've seen on the market, Yamaha Navi One and eMotion. So with these, and I know the eMotion have been around for a while, the Yamaha Navi One, they're newer. So you get about one push with the power assist wheels is equal to like 3 pushes in like a K5. And the Yamaha Navi One can be set up for someone who has hemiplegia. The eMotion Albert wheels cannot. In my experience, power assist wheels are good use in the community, but also even better use in the home if you're comparing power assist wheels to a smart drive. The smart drive you have to tap to turn on and off. So you're not going to really you may not go from your living room to kitchen using that. These wheels might be a little bit better for that kind of situation, and also the community. So I have a video of the Navi One.
This is where boundaries are erased. This is where the journey becomes yours. This is where your potential is realized. This is Navi One, where you can navigate life on your terms. Navi One is Yamaha's new innovative and intuitive power assist system that enables manual wheelchair riders to expand the range of their day-to-day activities with confidence and independence. Utilizing Yamaha's proven electric power assist technology, the new Navi One system is meticulously engineered into an efficient, fully sealed, and durable wheelchair wheel system with high-quality performance tires. The 2 highly adaptable wheels can be used on a wide range of wheelchair models, are lightweight and easy to assemble and transport. Navi One is far more than just a new spin on mobility. It's a trusted ally that's both powerful and intuitive to use. Almost immediately, manual wheelchair riders can experience the added power, control, and range of Navi One's electric motor. And Navi One reacts to the rider's push and can seamlessly go from low to high mode with the unique dual mode switch. When it comes to navigating your world, Navi One's performance is unprecedented. From long distances and varied terrain to ramps and inclines, it provides a powerful assist which can enable the rider to use significantly less energy to propel themselves forward, potentially reducing future shoulder deterioration, pain, and fatigue. Navi One has control features built into its operating system to enhance the rider's comfort and confidence, such as uphill ascent assist, rollback prevention, downhill speed control, and side slope assist. With its sophisticated wheel-to-wheel communication, Navi One enables users to stay in full control of their journey, even when one arm is stronger than the other. And it comes equipped with Smart Tune software that enables trained professionals to adjust performance characteristics, measure effectiveness of propulsion, and troubleshoot service needs wirelessly.
I have been using a wheelchair this year 35 years.
I've been using a wheelchair approximately 19 years.
I've been using a wheelchair off and on pretty much my whole life.
The Navi One really is an incredible assist for my activities of daily living. It's integrated into the chair. It's very sleek and a high-tech looking.
I can go further. I can be out all day and be by myself and not feel so exhausted by the time I'm done.
It feels amazing. The ride is amazing. And most of all, I do not have the shoulder pain and the pain on my hand that I had before.
It's less stress on my body, which is really, really great.
It's there to assist, not to control or take over. It is just there to do what I needed to do and power me on my journey where I need to go.
Independence and me being out and about to do things on my own without having to ask my family to help me is very empowering as a person with a disability. The Yamaha Navi One powers my journey.
So, where will your Navi One take you?
And so you can see how beneficial that was. You can see just like one push, the chair just starts to go and it just keeps going. And when you want to stop, you control that and you control your turns. So like I said, it's a little bit better for like in home or like in office use or shorter distances. But it was still really good on, out on community terrain. The anti-rollback, I think, is a really great feature for the Navi One. I have one more video for the Navi One, and that's for just the hemiplegia setup, just that difference. So you can see, and this is a short video for this one. So you can just see the power assist wheelchair and then a manual wheelchair. So you'd see that side-by-side video, how much less control or how much less she needed to steer, how the Navi One system helped her stay more straight so she didn't have to use as much energy, especially from her leg, to steer and keep straight. So I really like that for the Hemi Assist. And you would still get your regular wheels with this system. So you could interchange them with the regular wheels and then the Navi One system. And then you saw the battery comes on the back. All right, so the eFix. So this allows a manual wheelchair to turn into a compact wheelchair. So you have the wheels, the battery, and the joystick, and you can see just how slim it'll be because it's on your wheelchair, especially if it's folding. It's the size of this case, it's the width of this case of a water bottle. And then you can see the wheels and the battery. And then there's a picture of this lady with the joystick. So this is another option. I think this can be a little bit harder to justify for insurance because they're going to say, well, it's like a power wheelchair. Why aren't you just going for a power wheelchair? But you can make the argument of, if you have stairs to enter your home, or, you can't get a power wheelchair up and down your stairs because that's hundreds of pounds versus, a manual wheelchair. 30 to 40 with the power assist is going to be less than that, and so it's going to be easier to get in and out of your house. You can make justifications, but it can't. There can be hurdles to everything. All right, so power wheelchair seating. So we still have our tilt, our recline, power elevating leg rest. That's been around for a while. These are some newer features that I'm going to talk about with power wheelchair seating. So a new one is anterior tilt. So instead of tilting backwards, you're tilting forwards, and this can assist with transfers, reaching overhead and reaching forward. There are different degrees that you can get for like a max. You can get 10 degrees, which is no charge on Quantum and Permobiles. And then you will need insurance coverage for 20 to 30 degrees, and you'll get a knee block and a hip bar for safety, which you can see here on the Quantum. So that's for safety. Next is a power seat elevator. This has been around for a while. I would just like to include this in case, some people just aren't aware. So this will assist with lateral transfers, with reaching, accessing tall cabinets and counters, accessing high top tables at bars and restaurants, improving your eye-to-eye contact with people, and improved invisibility in the community, like the parking lot and the street, because people are not always looking out for other people, especially in wheelchairs and stuff. So safety is a big thing. So even in an elevated position, you can still drive up to 3 miles an hour. This is not covered by Medicare currently. They are reviewing this, but it can be covered by Medicaid. And standing. So this is only available on the Permobil F5. This is sometimes covered by private insurance. However, you cannot have like a custom molded backrest or cushion because, getting into the standing position, you're going to have movements of your laterals on your seat cushion and your backrest when moving into that standing position. Again, you will have a knee block and a chest bar. And if you haven't been standing for a while, you do need to get approval from your doctor to get the standing portion and provide that to the wheelchair company. That's for their liability. So that's just another thing that they're needed if you're interested in the standing, option. For insurance, there is an option that you can pay for it out of pocket if insurance does not cover it. But I like to be very open and honest with, my patients that I see. So I'm, same thing with you guys, open and honest. So you can do that, but if you choose to do that, you will be responsible for repairs. So if the actuator goes, you have to, repair the actuator. If the whole chair goes, that's something different. That, whatever your insurance company paid for, they'll cover the repairs on that. But what you pay for, you have to cover. So just having that knowledge, I think, is really good. So next, we're going to talk about the rear camera. This is on the Quantum power wheelchairs. You can get multiple mounting options available for the camera. So you can see on here, it's mounted right below the headrest, in between the push handles. And then you can see the display. It's 3.5 inches with the protective case to prevent damage, which is great. And then you can choose between having the camera on all the time or just when you go into reverse. And the display can be mounted off an armrest, the side rails, and other places. And you can see it in low light, and it's available on most of the bases with different seating configurations. So I did get one of these for one of my clients. He had a lot of tone in his trunk and legs, so he had to sit in a certain degree of tilt and recline to stay back in his wheelchair and be comfortable. So he wasn't able to see much below like his feet for safety. So I wrote it, he got approved for it. So we mounted the camera actually in the front of his wheelchair so he could see what was below him, make sure he wasn't going to hit any obstacles or anything like that. And so far so good from what I've heard, which I'm happy about. So then the Manuvio. So these are glasses that control your wheelchair and home accessibility. This is something really new. So I put a video in here just to give you more information that I may be able to tell you about it, and just so you can see how it works as well.
Hi, my name is Claudio. We at Monevo have developed a solution for people with reduced mobility to help them gain more freedom of movement and support in everyday life. Monevo Drive is the world's first wheelchair head control utilizing smart glasses. Intuitive head movements such as slight tilting and nodding of the head let you control your wheelchair safely and intuitively. The glasses adapt to your abilities within 20 seconds. Our control system can be recalibrated depending on your personal needs or preferred seat position. In addition to controlling wheelchairs, drivers can use smartphones and apps to take photos and much more. Monevo Drive is suitable for people whose mobility is limited due to illness and who therefore use an electric wheelchair. To use Monevo Drive, you must be able to nod and tilt your head within a range of about 1.5 inches in each direction only. Our technology allows people to continue to control their wheelchair safely and intuitively, even with minimal head movements, for more freedom and mobility in everyday life. Monevo Drive has been approved as medical device since 2018 in Germany. If you want to buy Monevo Drive, we have a special pre-order campaign currently running, so if you want to know more, click.
So I know he goes into talking about his campaign. I know National Seating and Mobility, they, I think, signed some sort of sales agreement with them to provide it. So I didn't want to go into, pre-ordering anything. But I think this is a really great new piece of technology. If anyone has a head array or seen anyone with a head array, it can be challenging to use. You have to get very used to it. And this might be like really great to not have to worry about, where your head is, where the pads are, how sensitive the pads are, the pads breaking down, all the wires that go into the head array, and worrying about a caregiver or family member, something happening with the head array or the wires or anything. So, 1.5 inches in each direction movement, that's pretty great for driving. And then also to control stuff around your house and control your smartphone. And you saw a guy on his computer. So to also have it be used for that is, I think, very, very cool. So I'm interested to see how this progresses in Wheelchair Clinic and in the market. So next we're going to talk about monitoring systems. So there are two systems on the market: the Lucy system, which is a collision avoidance system. So it will stop your power wheelchair. So it looks out in front of you versus down, so it won't see what's under your chair, but it'll stop like from curbs or steps from you from hitting those. And then there's the Braze blind spot monitoring system. So kind of like car blind spot monitoring system, excuse me for stuttering. So it'll send alerts about objects in your environment, and it will use light, sound, and vibration. So there's a little box that you'll see, and it'll light up. It'll also make a sound. And then there are plates that you sit on that will vibrate if you have sensation. So this is sometimes covered by private insurance, rarely by Medicare and Medicaid. But always try, always ask. So next, the Rojo Quattro, which has been out for a while, but always good to review. So the Quattro has 4 chambers. So if you have a pelvic obliquity, or you have unfortunately have a hole in it, you can lock the Rojo cushion, the Quattro, so that air will stay in the 3 other chambers, or you can, for your positioning, you can set it so there's more air in one chamber to like even you out. And then there is the Smart Check, which is a pressure gauge to ensure that your Rojo cushion is inflated as much as you want within a range. It can't be used with the Quattro. You have to get a Rojo single valve that is sensor ready to use those. And last, the Comfort Company Acta Relief Backrest. I use this with a lot of my patients that I see in Wheelchair Clinic. A lot of people, I think it's common with a lot of people that we just have forward head. There's some thoracic kyphosis. We have just postural changes. So this allows the backrest to be customized to you. You can see in this top picture what a traditional backrest does and what the Acta Relief does, and it does, and it conforms to you a little bit more, and it does it through this BOA system, is what they call it, with these dials and these laces. So you would unlock all of these, and you would really sink back into the backrest, and it'll conform to you, and then you lock it. So it becomes customizable, but it's considered an off-the-shelf backrest. So it's easier to get insurance coverage for. And then you can change it based on how you're feeling, and if you have a change in your positioning and everything. So it really allows you to be more sucked back in that chair, more supported. You can also get lateral supports on this if you need them, and they can be swung away. But I've had some really nice success with this backrest. So I do really like it and recommend it often if it's appropriate. And then so speaking of cushions and backs, as a reminder, you can get a replacement of your seat cushion and backrest every 2 years. So a replacement of what you currently have. And then a new wheelchair about every 5 years, or if there's been a significant change in your mobility status or weight, or something's going on with the chair, come in and see what's going on, come into Wheelchair Clinic or contact your company. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how to select a new wheelchair. So if you do need a wheelchair but have not had significant changes in your mobility or medical status, usually getting something similar to what you have is acceptable. Obviously, talk about what's going on with your current chair that you love and what you don't love, and work with the PT or the the clinician and the ATP from the wheelchair company to figure out what's going to be best for you, what's going to meet your needs and meet your goals. If there have been changes in your mobility or medical status, maybe a different type of wheelchair is needed. Maybe you go to power, maybe you need power assist. Again, talk about your goals and what's going on. But if your chair is under 5 years old, but you've had it, like I said, it had a significant change in mobility or medical status or weight loss or gain, you can get modifications completed to your chair, or depending on what needs to be done to the chair to meet your needs, you may qualify for a new one. But again, go to clinic. That's, I guess, my driving home point. Go to clinic if you have any concerns, or talk to the rep that you work with. So when you're considering what kind of new chair you want, are you staying with a power chair? Are you thinking about going from a manual chair to a power chair? You have to think about things. So there are advantages and disadvantages of things. So advantages of a power wheelchair, you have that reduced propulsion, reduced strain on your shoulders. You're conserving energy and reducing fatigue. You have increased speed to get around and improved ability to get around rough terrain. But there are also disadvantages. So it's harder to get around. You might need a wheelchair accessible van or wheelchair accessible transportation, which there are options out there, but depending on what's going on, it may be harder. There is increased maintenance because you have more electronics, more parts on the chair, more things that can break down. And there's an increased cost. Power wheelchairs can cost tens of thousands of dollars versus a manual, still thousands, but not tens. Possible weight gain from not pushing yourself around, so then possible decreased fitness. But things to consider when going to a power wheelchair is, are you at a high risk of an upper extremity injury, an arm injury? So if you've had one before, if you have obesity or you're elderly or live in a challenging terrain, such as steep hills, or you have to think about those things, and would that meet your needs getting a power chair? And then moving on to manual wheelchair, we talk about, in the ultra lightweight K5s, you have your rigid or your folding, and you may think, oh, I had a folding before, should I go to a rigid? Things change. And I've seen people go from K5 ultra lightweights to power wheelchairs. I've seen people go from folding frames to rigid frames. It goes across the whole board. So with the rigid frame, it's going to be a little bit lighter weight than a folding frame, just because with the folding frame you have more parts, you have that cross brace, and the rigid frame is going to be a little bit more durable. With the folding frame, again, you have more parts that can break. You can get repairs, obviously, but still that takes time. We know that's a process and not always a fun one to go through. With propulsion, you're going to have less frame movement in the rigid chair, so you're going to have more efficiency with your propulsions. Since there's more parts with the folding frame, that's going to take up some of your energy, so it's just going to be a little less efficient. And then going into wheelchair skills, like wheelies, getting up and down curves, you're going to have less frame movement again in the rigid frame, so you'll have improved performance with that. But you'll have a bumpier ride on uneven surfaces because you don't have as many pieces to take up the vibration like you do on a folding frame. And with the folding frame, you have a little bit more frame movement when you go to do a wheelie or go up and down curves. And then transportation, you can take the wheels off, you can fold the backrest down, so it goes in that L shape. So it can be loaded into, an SUV or loaded in the back seat of a car. Or the folding frame, folds in half and can be loaded into a trunk of a car, making it a little bit easier. So, I can't tell you how to choose what's best for you unless I see you and do a whole evaluation, but providing just some information on just how to make a good choice and what the differences are in, power and rigid and folding frames. Hopefully that's helpful for some of you guys, and you guys may know all of it as well. So I may not have provided any new information, at least for that portion.
Brittany, before you continue, we just had a question about what exactly is a K5 wheelchair?
So a K5 is an ultra light wheelchair. So it is a fully customizable wheelchair. It is going to be, the frame has to be less than 30 pounds per Medicare guidelines. And so it's customizable in your seat to floor height, your depth, so how deep the seat is, the width of the chair, what kind of armrest can you get, how much, what we call seat slope. So the difference between the height of the top of the chair to the floor and the difference between the back of the chair to the floor. So, you're kind of sitting in a little bit of a recline. And then also where the axle placement is. So examples of K5s would be like a Quickie QRI, a Quickie QXI, a Tylite, Motion Composites, Apex A, Motion Composites Helio A6. So those are all very customizable K5. So they're, for someone who's going to be a full-time wheelchair user, those are the chairs that I recommend. In terms of manual, those are the types of chair that I recommend for clients in Wheelchair Clinic. Does that answer? Hopefully that answers the question.
Sound very thorough to me. If there's any other questions, we can kind of go over more of the different types of wheelchairs at the end.
Yes, so we are at the end, so it's perfect timing.
All right, so yes, that you're